Sorry, I'm trying to find out where I was. Alleged that he dumped her naked body in the woods. WAGA and WXIA reported, citing a warrant application. The warrant also said the ex-officer is suspected of rape, murder, and other felonies, though he hasn't been charged with those crimes. Okay. Welcome, and all American Cartel members, and on Facebook friends, Twitter followers, random YouTube viewers, BitChute viewer, TikToker, Redditor, GLPer, 4chaner, and anybody else that might be watching. Thanks for joining me. My name is Julio. I am the Theorizing Theorist, and today we're going to be going over some interesting things that I want to talk about in regards to Kiely Rodni. Now, excuse me. Does anybody remember that cop that was caught on video on that TikTok dancing at a party, at a Mexican party? And he looked a little young, right? I want you guys to remember that, okay? The story that we're about to read is about a 13-year-old girl, and the police seemingly have a lot to do with it, to do with her death and disappearance and rape in the woods, apparently. And it makes me ponder, why do people still trust the police department like that? Like, I understand trusting the good cops and trusting in general police and the cops, but when mysterious circumstances happen in these murder cases and in these disappearances, and the only, like, we come across certain points like roadblocks, walls that we can't get past. For instance, like the cops won't release information or this and that in regards, and it all ends up to being in regards to the cops for some weird reason. Now, people can easily be framed by a police department or by a crooked cop or by a pair of crooked cops that are really good friends. Now, these cops, a lot of people say they're a part of the biggest gang in America. They're very friendly with each other. They love each other. They protect each other with their lives. They feel like they're part of their own little tribe. So that's fine. I understand you're dealing with some very crazy situations all day long, and you find comfort with your fellow officer. Fine. But how many times do you think that one cop does something crazy, calls his buddies, and they come and bail him out, right? So Kiely Rodni, there was a lot of interesting things going on that night in regards to the police, and the fact that the police are seemingly helping cover up the reality of what happened to Kiely Rodni. It makes me wonder if there's not more to that. Like, I've always maintained, like, guys, like I remember when the cops came out and said, we're doing a search party. We have a blocked off area where you can't search. Other than that, you can search everywhere, right? And in that blocked off area was basically where Kiely Rodni was found. And in the video that I made, I said, if you guys want to know where Kiely, this is when she was still missing, is if you guys want to know where she's at, I suggest the first thing you guys do is go look where the sheriff tells you not to look. Now, if people would have listened to me, they would have discovered that I was correct. Now, another interesting thing is remember old Juan? Right? From Checa TV. Now remember, him and somebody else were allowed to go to that area and enter the area. Now, did they do it with the permission of the police, or did they do it unbeknownst to them that they were searching areas that were off limits? So I don't know what happened there, but I just realized that it seems like the part that was off limits was searched by Juan and Zaname and that other person that almost met up to the same little line as Juan. I think the purple colored line on that map that R22 Cents graciously provided for us from the search parties app. They had, like, they were tracking everyone's movements and stuff, for those that don't know. So anyway, makes me wonder, like, if the sheriff or if powerful people, and some of these communities are small, they got police departments, 20, 30, 15, 10, 5 police officers, employees, whatever you want to call them, and they are a brotherhood, so to speak. And when they hire people, they hire their buddies, their friends, people they know are going to protect the status quo, you know? And in the instance here where this 22-year-old killed this 13-year-old girl, it could have just been a stray, you know, person, like one of the officers that was, you know, on his own, working on his own, doing his own bad things, had nothing to do with the cops. And that's, you know, whatever. But the fashion in which they found her really disturbs me. I mean, in the woods, I mean, it'd be easy to say that, like, I could easily theorize she was sacrificed. It was a gang bang, if you will, pardon the crudity, and, you know, seeing as how it's a little girl, but out there in the wherever, and they killed her. Now what strikes me as odd is these phones. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about it here in a second, so let's read this article real quick and then we'll discuss some more at the end. Missing 16-year-old's remains found in woods lead to officer's arrest, Georgia cops say. This is from Tunisia Kenny, Tuesday, February 14th. A Georgia police officer is accused of concealing the death of a 16-year-old girl who went missing on her way home last summer, authorities said. Miles Bryant, 22, an officer with the Doraville Police Department, was arrested days after the disappearance. And that's her right there. Very, very, very sad. 13 years old, murdered by a cop. So Miles Bryant, 22, an officer. I already read that part. Days after the remains of Susana Morales, were found in the woods near Highway 316, Gwinnett County Police announced Monday, February 13th, he was charged with concealing the death of another and false report of a crime in connection with the teen's death, according to a news release. Additional information wasn't immediately available, and it's unclear how or if Bryant and Morales knew each other. Well, I mean, they eventually knew each other, I would assume. So, City of Doraville statement on the arrest of Miles Bryant, February 13, 2023. The city of Doraville was notified the afternoon of Monday, February 13th, that a now former police officer was being served felony arrest warrants by the Gwinnett Police Department in connection with the disappearance and murder of Susana Morales. The city of Doraville and its police department are fully cooperating with the Gwinnett Police Department in its investigation of Mr. Bryant. Our prayers rest with the family and friends of Susana Morales and everyone else affected by this tragedy. And again, I want you guys to remember the dancing cop at the party over there. He looked pretty young, right? Doraville police learned of Bryant's arrest on February 13th and said the department is cooperating with the Gwinnett Police Department's investigation into the now former police officer. Our prayers rest with family and friends of Susana Morales and everyone else affected by this tragedy, the department said in a statement posted to Facebook. Missing teen was dumped in woods, warrant says. Morales had been reported missing since July 26. She texted her mother around 9:40 p.m. saying she was headed home but never arrived. On February 6, someone spotted what appeared to be human remains in the woods near a creek and called 911. The county medical examiner's office tested the remains and later identified them as Morales's. The tragic discovery of Susana's remains this week was not the outcome anyone wanted in this case, police said in a statement last week. Finding out what happened is one of our top priorities. Authorities said Bryant lived near the area where Morales was reported missing and alleged that he I'm trying to find out where I was. Alleged that he dumped her naked body in the woods. WAGA and WXIA reported, citing a warrant application. The warrant also said the ex-officer is suspected of rape, murder, and other felonies, though he hasn't been charged with those crimes. Okay. Further, police said that Bryant filed a false report on July 27th, claiming his gun was stolen in a car break-in at an apartment complex, according to WSB-TV. Death investigation continues. Before she vanished, authorities said Morales' cell phone and a surveillance video showed her walking in the direction of her home in Norcross. Police believe she got into a vehicle at some point. Very weird. So she just got into the vehicle. And there could be a lot more to this, but I feel like the only problem is this guy isn't connected. That's why he's not getting away with it. Imagine if this was a sheriff, right? Or the head. Anyway, Morales' cell phone continued to show being in the area of Oak Lock Trace until the cell phone died or was turned off, authorities said. The cause and manner of Morales' death remain under investigation, police said. Bryant remained in Gwinnett County Jail without bond as of February 14th, online records show. Now, let's discuss the coincidences between these two poor victims here. Now, their phones were turned off at the same time. Now, to me, that proves or shows planning. Generally, in all these cases, right? It's one of the things that we can it could be a similarity or just a coincidence. You know, maybe it was. Well, anyway, let's stay focused here. So these cops know that the phones are very important. If it was an accident or you're in a rush, and you're not a cop, let's just say, and you kill somebody, a lot of times, I'd say a high percentage of the times, the people just take off running. They're so scared that it was an oops moment. It wasn't premeditated. They're gone, right? They don't know what to do. They usually admit that later. When you see the person isn't panicked enough to where they're able to think clearly enough to where they grab the phone and turn it off and then do all these other things. Now, in this case, with this article we just read, they left the body there, so it's kind of stupid to turn the phone off. You know they're going to eventually find it. Who knows what really happened there? But the point being is, I just need everybody to kind of understand that these cops, like in Placer County, the ones that beat up that guy and done lots and lots and lots of semi-corrupt stuff and actually corrupt stuff that we could kind of discover already. So and remember, the police department extends into the coroner's office, to the DA's office, to, you know, search and rescue, to so forth, to the sheriff, the main sheriff, the elected official. I think Wayne Wu was his name. So I want you guys to keep that all in mind and remember that when one of their children is involved, and if they're part of one of these crazy cult towns, the extent of the cover-up and how well, you saw the Kiely Rodni case. Look at how the cover-up happened. And we're never going to get any answers, so it seems. But here at The Cartel, we will continue investigating it. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment down below your thoughts, your theories. Donate by checking the description box down below. And as always, you guys know my routine. To God be the glory.